Your magazine needs all the visibility it can get. Olivia Marocco tells us how to find it. This is Making Money from Magazines. So, welcome. Today we're here with Olivia Marocco, who is the managing director, publisher, CEO, everything at Brand New magazine, like many of our publishers. Welcome, Olivia.
Hi, Nikki. Hi, thanks for having me today. It's wonderful.
Oh, real pleasure. So today we're going to be talking about skyrocketing your visibility for any magazine publisher who wants to get more visible and therefore obviously sell more copies. So I just wanted to talk to you today, first of all. I mean, Brand New magazine is very clearly about branding yourself. And I was wondering if you could tell us what you think the best way for a magazine publisher to approach branding themselves in relation to their magazine.
Oh, well, there's quite a lot of things that they can do. I'll be honest with you now, when I first set up Radio Magazine 3 years ago, I didn't realize that I would have to build either a personal brand. I thought I was just building a business brand, a product brand. But I think in today's world, it's very important for any magazine owner to get out there and be visible. There's one thing promoting your magazine, but I think people now, they want to know who who the owner is, who the editor-in-chief is. They want to hear your story. So I think getting out there, putting yourself out there, being visible for your business, for your magazine is as crucial as just promoting the magazine itself.
Yeah, and I think that can be quite difficult for some publishers, huh? I've heard about people talking about how they kind of felt like they were coming out from behind the curtain
Mm.
when they started to be more personal in their communications and the way that they presented their magazine. Would you say that's true for you as well?
Absolutely, yes. It takes a lot of courage to get out there and show yourself, but I think you need to do it with intent and with purpose, and it's not just about putting yourself out there on social media for no reason at all. I think it needs to have a bit of strategy behind it as to what's the purpose, what message are you going to put out there, what's the story that you want to share. You need to be able to express your reason why you created your magazine. What's your aim with it? What's the purpose? What impact do you want your magazine to have? And I think people want to hear, they're all fascinated with it, with a story as to why we create a magazine and the impact that we want to create. So being able to express that and share your story out there in the world is a great kudos for your magazine, and you'll find that it will just amplify the whole visibility of your business. But you need to think about it with a intent and strategy, I think.
Yeah, I think for me, I always think that people buy from people, right? And if you're going to buy a magazine, then, if you know who it is that you're actually, where the money is going, who you're actually buying from, that really helps, right? Same with advertising sales, right? You want to be able to know who you're buying from. You don't just want a faceless person or a booking mechanism online. You want to know where that money's going.
Absolutely. And, every time I post about the magazine itself, it gets views, it gets comments and stuff. But every time I post something about me doing something, speaking to, going to speak on stage or just sharing my whys, I get to see that these posts, for example, have got the most interaction and the most interest. So people want to buy from people. They don't want to be sold to. The product is there at the back, but what they want to see or hear or know is the story behind the magazine. That's somehow more attractive, more interesting, and more fascinating than just being sold a magazine. Here, buy, read. Well, they want to know why, and they want to feel like they also aligned with your whys and your sense of purpose. I think so. Yes, we have to get out there. We have to these days. It's there's not much um other choice than to be out there and be visible as the founder, as the editor-in-chief of a magazine, and share our story.
And I think that's ironically easier for smaller publishers, right? Because they tend to start magazines because they have a passion for a subject matter and they want to get that subject matter out in the world. Whereas I think it must be harder for larger publishers who, maybe the editor has that personal connection, but then so many other people, the marketing department, for example, perhaps doesn't have that connection at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different dynamic when, your magazine um, has all of a sudden, a marketing team. I mean, that's everybody's dream, isn't it? For your magazine to get to that level.
Yeah.
But I think at the early stage when you are launching your first, your magazine, you are doing it out of passion. Something has driven you to want to do this. And I think to get your magazine off the ground, you've got to get out there. You've got to be visible. So until your magazine gets to a level where you can have a marketing team, and yes, messaging might change. I mean, ultimately, we're talking here about sharing your story as the founder, as the owner, and sharing your why and your passion to the wider audience in order to help your magazine get visibility and attraction. But we mustn't forget that ultimately we want to also share stories and value for our readers in order for them to also be attracted to our brand. And so you've got to divide it from, yes, share your story, get your story out there, build your personal brand, but also make sure that your content that you're delivering on your social media adds value and is there to help and to add value to your readers. So once you start getting, I guess, into a bigger structure with a marketing department, then maybe you might be the messaging will obviously change. It might not be so much about you, but it's going to have to always be ultimately about your readers and about your clients.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate and subscribe here on YouTube. So, I mean, we've talked a little bit about your own personal brand. What about some of the things that magazine publishers can do to just reach a wider audience? What have you done in your own business that's worked really well for you?
I mean, as a beginning, there's very little budget, right, in publishing your magazine. So you've got to think organically, and this is what I've done. Now, Brand New Magazine is lucky enough that we invite lots of wonderful female entrepreneurs to come and contribute to the magazine. So by enabling these women to have all the information, to have copies of the articles so that they can share, that's been one of the key things for our growth is organic reach and word of mouth. So I'm very much allowing and promoting for each of the contributors in my magazine to, hey, go and share that you've been published. Here's a copy, here's the PDF of your article, and go and share it within your own community. And that then has allowed Brand New Magazine to grow steadily. It's probably not as fast as maybe spending lots of money on ad spend, but it's been organic. And I think at the beginning, that's what you need to focus on quite a lot, is this organic reach. Utilize all your contributors, utilize everybody that has been involved in your edition of this particular magazine, and make sure that everybody talks about it and share it, because that's how you're going to enter everybody else's communities and network. So organic is very important, and the start until you get some money, and then you could put into ad spend.
Making money from magazines is made and sponsored by Crowdfinder Video, who make cost-effective video and podcasts for magazines. The graphics for the show were made by White Light Media. You've run events as well off the back of the magazine, haven't you? How's that gone for you?
Yeah, I mean, we started this year has been the launch of our first event, which was called Showtime. So it was a mixture of a big birthday party. Brand New has reached its third birthday. So I wanted to celebrate that because it's been a roller coaster of a ride for the last 3 years. And for a magazine to stand this long, it's quite an achievement. So I wanted to really take the moment and celebrate, but it was also strategic to put Brand New on a different map and open up a division of the business that would focus on events, because we talked about it before. Is I really strongly believe that in my business, within my brand, the magazine itself is not the all of the business. It's for me, it's the heartbeat of the business. And then alongside that, my brand can offer so much more. So events is an area that I want to explore. So Showtime was I hope will become a flagship event once a year. And this is really the great opportunity, like the name says, to create a real show and to allow the magazine's pages to come to life. So I invite some of the women who've been featured on my covers, some of the best experts that have been featured in the magazine to come and showcase their expertise live and inspire and educate all the people that come to the event. So it was a great success. And now we're sort of planning and brainstorming Showtime 2025. So events are also a great way to promote your business, to promote your magazine. You can also do trade shows. Quite a lot of magazines do trade shows, and it's a great way. So obviously a different budget, but it's a great way to reach a wider audience and promote your magazine. There's lots of other ways that you can utilize, um, being invited on podcasts and YouTube videos to talk about your magazine is another great way to reach a wider audience. So the idea is to not feel worried about getting out there, about sharing your story, creating events. Start small, build it, invite all your readers, invite all your contributors, and see what other kind of value your brand, your business, and your magazine can bring alongside its pages. Yeah.
Yeah, I think running an event especially has so much positive reputational value, huh?
Yeah.
Because you're always, you're bringing so many people together, and they will then tell their friends about what they've been up to, what they've been doing, and how valuable it was. And then when it comes around again the following year, or whenever you decide to do it, they're much more likely to want to attend again and again, to recommend it to other people. I mean, I've seen some really smart marketing going on around events where they've done background images for anybody who's bought a ticket, so that they can share that on social media and say, "I'm going to this event," you know. And then that it's just the word of mouth, really, isn't it? I mean, word of mouth is especially for small companies, I think, is so
And
valuable.
it's also a great tool to build the reputation as well of the magazine and its content. I mean, with Brand New Magazine, what I always try to aim is to bring, whether it's on our covers or even inside our pages, successful business women who can come and not only share their story and expertise, but also inspire. So I think by creating a face-to-face event and being able to bring some of these women to my event is kudos for me, because these are women that we may not, my readers and my community, may not have access to. So to be able to bring them live on an event is quite exclusive. It feels quite exclusive. To keep it also to a level that feels still quite intimate to begin with makes it even more exclusive. So it's all about building also the reputation of you and your magazine. And they're a great way to be able to make it fun. Like you said, we can do competition. I ran a competition at Showtime that any ticket holder would be put into a pot and win the next cover of Brand New Magazine, and that always creates a bit of a buzz, because who doesn't want to be on the cover of a magazine, especially within the
That's
female
so true.
entrepreneurs. It might be different in your whichever industry your magazine fits in, but for us female entrepreneurs, who doesn't want to be on the cover of a magazine and have that opportunity to not only share your story, but have that massive visibility boost for your business. So creating fun things like that is at events work. That think about what would your audience, how would they benefit. We also did a raffle. So I work with a charity called Believe, and Believe are based in London, and they support young girls from the age of 8 to 22 in giving them access to education, to training, in order for them to make the right choices in their lives. And we've been working with Baby Youth, allowing some of the girls to be able to express themselves in the pages of Brand New Magazine, and and build their confidence. My writing is alongside some really successful business women, and it boosts their confidence, and it's a great experience for them. And so I wanted to give back a little bit more to Baby. So working with the charity is another great way to promote your business, ensure that you care and that you want to give back. So we did an enormous raffle, and I asked all the speakers, the sponsors of Showtime, to donate a gift. So as we all pitch a business, a lot of it was, maybe an hour, power hour, or maybe a free entry to their membership. And we collected I think it was over £7,500 worth of donations of goods for this charity. And everybody walks away with something, with a gift. So one on the cover, and I think about 20 women walked away with some amazing gifts that are valuable and of value for them and their business.
That's amazing.
We did the LinkedIn, we got revise your LinkedIn profile. We had the year's free membership to Lisa Johnson, who's a famous business trainer. So they were really valuable gifts. So always think about what can you add to your events that's going to make your attendees very excited to be there. Who doesn't want to win something? And but that brings value. And then you can also use that to promote your event. You know, hey, we're doing this for charity. Some of our attendees can win amazing gifts, and it just helps to put your business, your magazine into a good light, I think.
When we met before, we talked a little bit about working with competitors to increase your visibility. How's that working for you, and what kind of recommendations would you have for other people?
Just, you know, to not be scared of competition or competitors, because you can learn a lot from them depending on where or how far ahead of the journey they are from you. If you and I've never been scared of competition, and I've never seen it as competition. I just see it as businesses or women who are just maybe further ahead on their journey as I am. So collaboration is always something that you should think about, how to collaborate. Be strategic about it, obviously. Don't just say yes to any kind of collaboration. Think about what the collaboration can do for your business, how it can help move your magazine forward, bring more visibility, reach a wider audience. So there's always good reasons to collaborate, and your competitors do not be scared of. It's for me, it's more means of how can I learn from them. So I am at the moment talking to this woman who has her own magazine and her own community. She is just 10 years ahead in her journey, and she's a real inspiration. And I look forward to be able to collaborate with her. Yeah, we can see what we can do together, and it's always a great learning curve. So never be scared of competition. Just think strategically, what can you gain from it? What can the other party gain from it? And how can you both help move your businesses further along? So I don't think competition is something that you need to, I don't know, shy away from.
Yeah, the world is wide enough now that we can have two competing companies, right? I think, and still both be profitable, right? Amongst smaller businesses. I've heard a lot of people sitting on ideas for a long time and not telling anybody. I'm like, why don't you just, get the idea out there? Oh, well, what if somebody else steals my idea, kind of thing. And I always just think, well, then either you've got to move faster or you've got to think about how to collaborate so that there's a synergy there between the two companies.
Absolutely. And plus, and then ultimately, really show me one person who has actually invented something. Most of us, are kind of repeating something that's already been done. We're just adding our own flair to it and our own personality and our own sense of purpose to it. But, we're very rarely reinventing the wheel. So whatever you are thinking or that you're sitting on an idea that you think, oh, somebody's going to steal it from me, then they're probably not. They're not probably going to steal it.
Somebody's already thought about it somewhere already.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, don't put all your concentration on that. I think it's a waste of energy, a waste of time. Put your concentration more, okay, how can you develop your new idea? Who can you meet along the way that's going to help you to move this project forward? And in Showtime, for example, is a great example of collaboration. I could have not have done it had I not been working really hard to build a community around me, friends, and business buddies who, I managed to call upon and say, hey, I need two of you down at reception to welcome my guest, and I need one of you to go with a microphone and interview all my speakers and sponsors behind the scenes, and I need one of you to look after my VIPs. And my first event budget wasn't extensive. I was like, who can come and help me? And so making
Yeah.
sure that you are also through networking, nurturing or your community around you so that you can call upon them when you need it and collaborate.
And don't be afraid to ask as well, huh? Don't be afraid to
Yeah,
ask for help. I think a lot of people are kind of think, oh, well, I can't do that because I don't have the money to pay them. But sometimes people really genuinely want to help. They're just waiting to be asked.
yeah. Not everybody wants to be paid in return. You will do that for them when the time comes. But I've made sure that through all the promotion of Showtime, I credited everybody. Everybody got into the limelight and showcased as being part of the team. So everybody they get a bit of visibility. They get to network. They get to go to the event for free. So everybody gets something from it.
I think I could do that more publicly. I think I could definitely, even just following up on Magazine Street and saying, here's a massive thank you to all the people who helped me, and here they are, and this is what they do, and how about you get in touch with them? So, yeah, thank you. I think that's a really good tip. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate and subscribe here on YouTube. we've talked about the kind of positive sides of running events and the, the visibility that you can gain there. But I think there's another story to tell as well about the finances of it all. I know for myself, running Magazine Street, it's a big time commitment, and there's obviously an opportunity cost to that time. So kind of thinking about what I could be doing rather than Magazine Street often crosses my mind. But I really love Magazine Street. I love bringing everybody together, and I think that's, for me anyway, it's maybe a bit of a problem because I love it so much, and maybe that's what's driving me more than the finances. In my first year, I broke even. In my second year, I I managed to make a £300 profit, and £300 for about 6 months' work just feels, unnecessary. but but obviously, because I love running it so much, I continue with it, and there's absolutely that reputational value. Would you say it's a kind of similar thing for you with Showtime?
I don't think many people will say, "Oh my God, I want to make millions from it." But the aim of your first event is A, to find out whether your community is going to come, whether people are going to be interested in your event, whether it's going to work, and it's about building your reputation. But behind the scene, you've got to realize that putting on an event is an expense, and it can be quite scary. Showtime cost me about £15,000, and if the project didn't work, I could have indebted myself
Yeah.
quite a lot financially. So first of all, it's really important to be able to feel that you can take a risk in your business, that there's nothing is life or death threatening, but you need to make sure that you can cover yourself financially. And the best thing to do is, how can I break even on your first event? If you can make some profit, that's amazing, but how can you break even? It's probably the first thing that you need to think about. And so there's ways that you can do that. You can look at sponsors. So sponsors are a great way to be able to inject money into your events, so that you can pay for the venue and you can pay for all the upfront costs.
Yeah, we're working with a sponsor this year who has run their own event in the past, but this year just thought, you know what, we don't want to spend the time on that this year, so we're going to invest more in Magazine Street, and that's really nice for them because they get a chance to meet the same kind of audience that they would have brought to their own event, but they get to do it on a, from an operational perspective, much smaller scale. It's a nice way for them to meet a new audience that maybe they wouldn't have attracted to their own event as well. So there's definitely a real strength in exhibiting at other people's events, I think. Yeah. I've heard some interesting stories as well from publishers who have run their own events. It was an award ceremony I heard about. They ran an award ceremony, and the first year that they'd done it themselves, but of course there'd been a huge time commitment for that. Um, but the awards themselves were great. They were really personality led. They were really the personalities of the people that were running the magazine, right? So it fitted really nicely. Um, and then the following year, they thought, well, we'll hire a company to do this for us because events management companies are, really well accomplished. They know what they're doing. They can get better rates because they're booking multiple venues for multiple different events and so on. And so they got an events company to do it, who made them more money than they'd made the previous year and so on. But the feedback afterwards from their readers was, well, it's not really you though, is it? It's not really the embodiment of the magazine anymore. It's a completely different event. So they decided to stop doing it. What do you think about that?
Losing your personality as a brand is very, it can be quite damaging. I know Showtime had its own personality, and in fact, it's by living the event itself that I came out thinking, oh, that was quite distinctive what happened there. The ambience, the energy that people came to the event with was quite unique, and quite surprised. I was quite surprised by it. So I guess, yes, if I want Showtime to grow, and I will eventually be able to invest in this kind of other help to grow the business. And the one thing that I don't want to do is lose its essence.
Olivia, it's been so lovely talking to you. Can you tell us what would you say is your one tip then? What's the thing that you think everybody should focus on to get bigger visibility for their magazine?
It's probably the most frightening, I mean, for some, but get in front of the camera and talk about your business, talk about your brand, talk about your magazine. I mean, you can create hundreds of social media posts, but I think to have a stronger impact is get out there and start. thinking about building your personal brand, get visible, share your passion about your magazine.
Thank you, Olivia. It was really lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
The Making Money from Magazines podcast is made by Crowdfinder Video with graphics by White Light Media.